I
Hang
got three
on.
drinks at the ready. I got my water, and I got my high noon.
Hmm.
I got my bang, of course. I'm gonna try to wake up. I just got up from a nap, so I'm kind of a little groggy.
I've
I know
always
the
envied the nap guys.
Mm-hmm.
I could never take naps.
really.
Right? Why
I love
not?
a good nap.
I don't know. I sleep. I generally get at least 6 hours a night sleep, but I don't know with naps. Unless I like took a Benadryl or something, it's hard for me to just fall asleep in the day. But
Really?
I'm a light sleeper. Yeah, like I take melatonin to help myself fall asleep. I don't just fall asleep unless I'm especially exhausted, of course. Like if it's been a busy day or if I've been traveling, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
What's your average? How many like I get around hours average.
Now I get more probably now than I used to in high school. But then again, I would probably say seven to I eight if I can. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, I
man, I
shoot
get
for eight
less.
now.
Yeah, yeah,
Really?
it does make a difference, man. I admit I sleep in on the weekends. I don't like to sleep in past 9:30 because then I feel like the day feels
Really?
rushed after that. But yeah, I
I don't get
probably fall
anything done.
asleep. I fall asleep around 1, but I have to like lay in bed for like 40 minutes to an hour before I fall asleep. I'm
Mm.
just like
Sure.
that.
They
Some people they just
say,
like hit the bed and they're gone.
Yeah, that's
But
pretty much me. It's
yeah, I
actually hard.
can't.
I have to make myself stay up, pretty
see,
much.
yeah, yeah, that's how a lot of
Man,
people are. But I gotta like lay there doing nothing, no looking at the phone or anything. I just lay there and then I ease into sleep slowly. And once I sleep good. But yeah.
they say that's good for you. Do read a book, something to turn the screen off for God's sake,
No,
because
I
you're
definitely
gonna.
sleep in the screens. What's up, cookies and tacos? I go to sleep to screens
Let's
every
watching
night.
us.
You heard it here, folks.
Every night,
Watch us
bro.
compete.
Now, recently, I've been going to sleep to. Well, last night I went to sleep to Ozark.
I've been
Uh,
watching it too.
You
it's
missed half the season.
amazing.
Good show.
It's amazing.
Are you on the
Can't
last
wait.
season?
Yeah, yeah,
So
Part
I'm at
one.
yeah, I'm at
yeah. Part one.
probably. Oh wait, it's split into two, so there's more coming.
Uh huh.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the sun? This is the
Oh,
podcast Sunday, cookies. This is the podcast Sunday right here. We're gonna
yeah.
discuss later. Right now, we like to just open up talking, just talking about whatever comes to mind. But later, we're going to rate our
A little bit.
top five and top three overrated Disney movies. He says W. He gets a W in chat for the podcast Sunday. I appreciate it. Pass the W's around.
We made
We
it.
yeah, I'm up to like episode 5 of the latest season, I think. I I gotta go like 2 episodes at once.
Cookies. He asked
You
me.
can't. You can't stop at one. There's too much going on. They leave it on these cliffhangers, and it's like, well,
Well, I mean,
I got
Ozark is
another
just
to
really,
kill.
really, really, really well
Well done.
written, um,
Mm-hmm.
well acted. Doesn't
Everyone's good in it.
you know? Surprisingly enough, I come to find when I talk about that show and I recommend that show, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people don't stick with it, which is very surprising. Like a lot of people that
Really?
like Breaking Bad, and then that's when I'm like, oh, if you
Yeah,
like Breaking Bad, you should check out Ozark. And then I tell them, and
right.
it's like, it doesn't
They're
have
like
the same.
sister shows, kinda.
In a
Mm-hmm.
way, I feel like
Yeah.
Ozark is like more like adrenaline filled,
Yes,
where
I agree.
like Breaking Bad, it was really slow and steady. But I know they had a lot more
Hmm.
limitations being on network television versus being on streaming.
Right, right,
So if it was a Hulu original or something, who knows how crazy that show could have gotten.
right,
But
right.
Yeah.
because of that, that's why I get really confused. I'm like, so wait, you're cool with everyone just eating dinner and doing like nothing? That's
Right.
not boring to you, but some guy screaming about laundering money with his wife in the middle of the night is not exciting to you. It's just really weird.
To be fair, when Breaking Bad had their big wham episodes and went hard, they went really hard. Like they
That's
they get
true.
pretty
But it's
like
because
they
of
get
the
pretty
Yeah, they
slow
did
good.
though.
drip.
There was
It's
a slow burn, but I gotta admit, now this is an unpopular opinion with a lot of TV people, but Better Call Saul is too much of a slow burn for me. I think it's a very well acted, like well done show, but it's very, very slow.
I've never seen
And that's
it.
our first hot take of the day, folks. We're off to, a blazing start here.
Bob
Love
Odenkirk's great. The cast is very good, but it's
they do
very
such
needed.
they do such a good job, and I love how it's a prequel and
Well, real
everything's
quick,
slowly piecing together and leading to the Breaking
Slow
Bad
burn. People like it.
episodes.
I get it.
Real quick, we'll come back to our
Yeah.
Breaking Bad Ozark discussion. But
Yeah.
in chat, Cookies and Tacos wants to know who you guys are. So I guess we should
Oh.
reintroduce. We should probably get in the habit of introducing ourselves at the beginning. But
Yeah, probably.
of course, I'm the White Kirby or josh.ua, depending on where the fan base is. Today and always, I'll have my two other mics.
I'll take it away here. Hey everybody, I'm Ground Dark, aka Tim, good friend of Kirby. I love media. I'm here to discuss all sorts of topics. This week it's going to be Disney. Next week, who knows?
Right.
Just want to quickly build off of last week. That picture of me still going around. I've seen it on a bunch of different websites again. It even made his way to Josh, who, little clowning here and there.
It's on my Twitter.
But I'm just really getting sick of this, man, because it's just ruining my reputation. And I don't know who to sue for the defamation.
You
But
can't walk into a
lawyers are
Target.
on it. Legal team is on it. All right, but go on. Yeah, how you guys doing? I'm really frustrated.
I can feel it. I want to give you the space before I...
Just give me a second to breathe. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Go ahead.
I'm Dominic Cellini, otherwise known as domcell on Instagram. I'm an illustrator and I make comics. You might know the Emmy the Robot webcomic, which I've created. Tim and Josh here are my good longtime friends. They've known me since, Tim I've known since kindergarten, but then we became close friends in high school, and that's the same with Josh. And I'm happy to...
Reconnected.
Absolutely. So, well, we've always been.
You guys literally knew each other from
Through
the Sandlot.
fate.
Like that's not just a term of expression.
We could have
Was
moved
that
different
just from the
states.
Sandbox? I mean, not Sandlot. Not from the movie, The Sandlot.
Yeah, we didn't play baseball. We played on the blacktop in grade school. I remember.
Yeah, we used our imaginations, people.
Well, we had like a sit and bounce. The ball with the thing.
Did we really?
Remember? Yeah, I remember. I got in a fight with It was either like
Here we
or
go.
Mason or somebody because they were hogging the sit and bounce all day, and I wanted to sit and bounce too, but
Sure. Who
I just
wouldn't?
had to sit.
The sit and bounce? What is that?
It's just remember those little balls they had with the handle?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And you're 5 years old.
Remember-
you sit on it and you're bouncing and
Remember the secret
had to
torture
sit
device?
and not
That
bounce.
was those little scooter things we sat on, and like, if you weren't careful, you'd run over your own
your
finger.
finger.
Watch those fingers.
That was
Ugh.
insane. But I don't know if your
Yeah.
PE teacher ever did it, but we played this game called Crab Soccer on those, where we
Oh,
all sat on
yes.
there and we played basically
Yeah.
soccer. And the
That
only
was
rule was
fun.
you couldn't stand up and get off
Right.
of it. And it was so much fun. I think we played crab soccer for like a month and a half before, because we all just they asked us what do you want to play, and we always yelled crab soccer. And then after a while, all right, we have to play something else via the curriculum. We can't
Josh,
just keep
did
playing
they ever
crab
do the
soccer all year.
parachute?
Oh, the
Parachute
parachute,
is
huh? What? Little did I know I was just small, but that felt like I went to a whole different dimension.
The parachute was big time.
And
It was a
all we
special
really were
occasion.
just sitting down and under a parachute, but it was just like, whoa, it's like that was VR really before the Oculus Rift.
The power of teamwork really hit home that day. Especially when the kids would fluff it up, and then one kid you'd have to crawl to the other end, and you feel like if it fell on you, you were gonna die. And
Yep.
Sometimes you put little things on top of it and flipped it up and watched
yes,
it
like balls.
soar.
We had a bunch of little foam balls or wiffle balls. The teacher would throw them in. They'd be like, popcorn, and you try to keep it in, but
It was
Yeah.
the best. It was the best days of my life.
yeah, that was pretty much the peak, and it's been downhill slowly
Ever since.
ever since.
I remember one time we did that parachute thing where we all lift up and then have to sit on it and get on the inside. One person
Oh.
got scared. And we're
Oh,
like,
well,
what
that
are you
kid.
afraid of? Like when we did it and we were all like, hooray, and then all of a sudden we thought they were laughing, but when we all stopped laughing and cheering, they were just sobbing. Like they were scared being in the parachute. And we're like,
Well,
then
those
get the
kids-
hell out of here then.
Oh,
like
no.
you're ruining the vibe.
We don't really talk about those kids because they're so weak that I don't even know if they're alive
In
anymore.
Sparta they would have been thrown off the hill.
Those are the kids whose like bloodline like somehow snuck past.
It's just Darwinism in action at the end of the day. It's just Darwinism in action.
That's a weakness that can't be learned. That's inherent.
It's inherent. It's innate.
The teachers pull you aside. Like, there are sharks in this world and there are minnows. If you have to wonder,
You're the minnow.
you should know what. Yeah.
Just like the teacher with that kid, probably took him like away from the parachute. Like, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? Like, I wanted to be under there too. You know, this is like my second lunch break
Like,
in a way.
like not sympathetic. Like, what the hell is your problem?
Exactly, not at all. Just straightens up his tie. It's a male teacher. What's going on? His click
You
clack
guys ever
shoes.
cry at school though? Because I think most kids though have had an incident where they cried at school.
Oh yeah,
right?
if you're not a human
Yeah.
being, if you haven't cried at school, because kids are cruel and school's kind of cruel in a way.
Yeah.
Kids
So
who haven't
something
cried
has
at
to trigger
school are
you.
the opposite
It's basically
end of the spectrum.
comfortable prison with a teacher
Yeah.
in a weird way. I don't want to make it so morbid because it's obviously nicer than prison, but I mean like the way
Well, no,
that
but
you're really
in a
controlled, you're
kid's way,
scheduled, you're very
powerless.
told what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like you get
Yeah,
a
you're
seating
powerless.
arrangement, and you can hate that kid, but you have to sit next to him for the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. And the kids who never had a breakdown at school growing up, they're the opposite end of the spectrum. Those are psychos. Those are unfeeling, I don't know, killers.
Robots.
Yeah, for real though. I mean,
Well,
what
yeah.
time did I'm trying to think of the time. No, one time I can think of when I cried at school was when it was April Fool's Day, and
Yeah.
growing now I realize
Uh-oh.
that girls are kind of a little more crueler than guys. But
Oh, yeah, yeah.
it was just like the whole class on April Fool's Day. Everyone knew it was like free for all, do whatever.
Yeah.
That and what was it? What's that stupid day where if you don't wear green, people will pinch you like crazy?
St. Patrick's.
St. Patrick's Day.
That
Those
fucking
two
idiot
days.
holiday.
Those two are like free reign to just abuse kids in your class. And so like
Yeah.
on April Fool's Day, I remember I was like on a roll, but I was
Yeah.
on a nice roll. Like I never did pranks that like, you know, I would just do things like, oh, you know, so-and-so wants to talk to you like someone in our class. And then they go over and
Yeah.
be like, yeah? And it's like, I don't want to talk to you. But, oh, April Fool is all the way from the, you know, something that's not
Yeah.
that bad. And so I guess I
Right.
was on such a roll so much that these group of girls were like plotting on me. And so they
Oh.
put a freaking, like, one of those Tic Tac things, like those pin things that pin to the
Yeah.
wall, in my chair. And when I sat,
Oh.
yeah, and when I
Classic.
sat down,
thumbtack. Oh.
yeah, it stuck into my butt. And when I, yeah, and I was just like, ow, like, what is happening? It's not stopping, because I thought I would just get up and to be gone. I looked at my chair, I'm like, it's not there. And they're like laughing in the
your
back.
butt, yeah.
And my teacher took me out the hallway, helped me out and everything. But that was when I like cried, because I was like, what's happening? Because it was so
Oh,
small, I
man.
didn't even know what was going on. But it just kept like hurting, you know. So that's one
You
time
didn't
that I
deserve
can
it. Nobody
think,
deserves that.
right, but it's not a big deal. It's not like it scarred me for life and made me an incel woman hater. But it was just something to think about. I was just like, that is the time I cried at school, I guess.
No, Josh. There was a time. This was like kindergarten, so this hardly counts because I mean, like every kid cried in kindergarten, but it was one of those things where my little buddy at the time decided in this way that kids do, because like you were saying, Josh, he just decided, hey, what if I messed with Dom that he's not, and told him he's not my friend anymore.
Oh, wow.
I hope
kids
this
just
wasn't
do
me,
stuff.
was it?
Yeah, kids just do stuff
This
like
was
that.
not you, Tim.
This wasn't me, was it?
He didn't go the Catholic schools after us, but this was at CTK. This kid, I knew him years later, a nice kid, but we had a little spat that day because he decided it would be a funny joke to tell me I'm not his friend anymore. I was upset, And the final straw was that he said he would be friends with someone we both went to high school with and also kindergarten with. I don't want to name drop.
Right.
Someone we like, of course. But back then, he had these nice toys that he would never share, and it drove me nuts. He had, so remember Disney's Hercules came out?
Oh, do I?
The Titans. So he had the Ice Titan figure, and that was my favorite. But I didn't have it, and he'd never let me play with it.
Yeah, that's a rare one.
Yeah, so he was on my list for a while then for that. Because I wanted the Ice Titan. It was like a cool skeleton-looking one. Anyway, my buddy said that he was his new buddy, and that they were going to be best friends, and he was going to get to play with the toy. And that was the last straw. I bit him. The teacher pulled us both aside. They're like, all right.
Oh, they saw?
Right. How did this escalate? Yeah, it was right in front of the teacher.
Oh, he must have been at his limit. Yeah, they're always.
I was at my limit because I was normally a pretty well-behaved kid, but you can only push a nice guy so far, And you've seen Joker. It was my Joker moment. Right? I bit him. The teacher pulls us both aside. And
that's how you got your scars.
I'm crying, and then the other kid, Riley's crying because I bit him. And I explained. I said, he said he's not my friend anymore. And Riley's like, I was just joking. It was just joking. I didn't mean it. I'm like, well, that's not funny. And and then we made up after that. And because boys are like that.
Yeah,
boys will be boys at the end of the day.
Cookie the Taco says you blew the school up after your friend switches friends.
What are you gonna do?
Right. The only mode of action.
That was the only time I ever assaulted another kid was when I was 10, and I hit the kid down the street, and that's about it. That's about it for my scraps.
Well, it's the scars that make us who we are. And, I think you took that experience and learned from it, and I think we're going to talk a lot about stuff today from our childhood and
the way of the sword, and
the way of the sword,
the art of war,
the art of
art of war, baby.
Man,
bite the kid.
I mean, shoot. You took a bite out of your ego. You take a bite.
That's right. Eye for an eye. Eye for an eye.
Oh man,
it was just our little baby teeth too at the time. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even break the skin.
Yeah, you don't even have those things anymore.
He was a fair-skinned redhead though, so it did leave a mark. Then you grab him too hard.
He'll look at it and remember.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I had this situation in kindergarten where I had this weird bully, but he wasn't like a bully. He was just a big kid that, now that I think about it, talked to me too much, kind of, and I just didn't like it. And so,
I get it.
Pretty much now I just consider that bullying, I guess, because that bothers my inner core, So,
but he was bugging you,
exactly. Yeah. And so conveniently, my parents put me into Taekwondo, and the first thing they taught us was pressure points. There's a pressure point in your hand that if you hold the back part and bend the front part of someone's hand, it's gonna hurt. And I just remembered one time. We had to sit. I forget what we were doing, but I think we were practicing for a tornado drill, to be honest, because we were sitting on their desks, and he sat next to me for this thing, and he was like, scoot over, I need room, because he's a bigger kid, and before I got big, I was a pretty skinny kid actually, and so he was trying to push on me, and I was like, hey Joseph, because that's what his name, and he's like, yeah, I was like, let me see your hand, and I did that really quick, and he goes, ow, and I was like, shh, and then. Yeah, so I took a bit out of crime too once myself. A pressure point out of crime.
I did a little Taekwondo when I was in grade school. I never got to use it on anybody though. It was just for fun. It was a fun thing to do to kind of get some exercise because I never did sports. I never liked it. But where did you take the classes?
It was actually in another city.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It wasn't
there was a place here that did pretty good ones.
Actually, the guy here that taught Taekwondo used to come to the other city to teach and certify belts.
Was it okay? So the one of the guys we had
Nice.
in town here in my place, he wasn't there every day. We had the young guy. Well, gosh, probably at the time he was probably our age, but he seemed older at the time. His name was Josh, cool young guy, had a little soul patch. And then we had the old Korean guy. We just called him Grandmaster, and we loved that guy. He was like our Mr. Miyagi, bald,
That's what you
glasses.
called
Yeah,
him?
that was him.
Yeah, yeah. Did he have a mole? I think like
Yeah,
on his
yeah, he
eyebrow.
loved
Oh,
me. He called
he
me. I
was
think so. His name
awesome.
was Josh.
Well, no, his like young teacher was named Josh. Like
Okay,
Josh was. I don't think
I was about to
Grandmaster's
say
name
because a
was Josh.
grandmaster, that was the guy that came to our town all the time to certify belts and do tests and
Oh,
stuff,
he was
and he
awesome.
loved me, and because he would see me and he'd go Joshy like that
Yeah, yeah.
before I did like my break the board or did my pill psalm, he'd go Joshy, and he liked me a lot, and he actually talked to my parents about bringing me to
Yeah.
Springfield. All, but at the time, I was like an hour and a half drive, and they were just like, "We don't want to
Right.
do that every Saturday. This is just for like your parents did fun and exercise."
Right.
So, but he like wanted to like professionally train me for. He just liked me a lot.
He was a really, sweet guy. Honestly, Tim, this guy was like
He
kind of
was
like this.
great.
Tim,
So
like
I'm
imagine
hearing.
a stereotypical like old Asian master who's like grandfatherly
Yeah,
and
it's
like
the
good with the
exact that.
kids. Like he would let the little kids. So when we would spar, because sometimes he would be more involved in the class. The little kids, he would let them kick him in the net throat
Yeah,
right here. He'd just be like, "Yeah, go ahead, go ahead," and like we'd be nervous. We'd be like, "No, I don't want to." He'd be like, "No, it's fine." And when the littler kids would do it, he'd like fly back and act like they were so strong. And yeah, it was fun.
yeah,
So you guys had the same sensei?
yeah,
Somewhat, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
I think
yeah.
he
Look at
was some
this.
Wow.
sort of. There must have been like some sort of. Actually, I saw some really messed up stuff in one of those tests. Um,
Oh
because
yeah.
like you know how it gets harder as you go for different belts, and
Well,
it
yeah,
goes
and if you're
from
older
breaking
and
wood to breaking 2 blocks of wood to breaking
to the little
cement
thin
blocks.
cement, yeah.
Yeah, and so
Hmm.
Oh
like
boy.
this one guy who
Yeah.
I think now I think about it, like you know when everyone's big, they seem like they're the same age as your parents, but he's probably only like
Right.
our age or 24. But he was like a guy who was like on his red
Red
third
belt.
belt, so like one away from
Okay.
black. So he was
Yeah.
going for the
Oh.
Omega test to get the black. So he had
Yeah.
to crush cement,
Yeah.
and it just was not going for him. But
Ooh.
he just was not giving up. So eventually, I saw like a live action bloody mess because
Ooh.
because like he would do it, and then it was like they give you 3 tries because how dangerous it is to keep striking your hand against cement. And
Well, and wouldn't
so
they sometimes lay a towel down on there just in case so you don't, bust up your skin?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But still, with that, I from what I saw,
But
because I
even
see
then,
those tests, they would never give him more than like 3 strikes,
well,
and
sure, yeah, you don't want
exactly, and so like failed his third strike, and then before they're like could like remove him from the thing, he just kept going like and he just kept like rapidly doing it, and it
to.
just like the last one, it wasn't like anything crazy, like his fingers didn't break, I hope, but it definitely was like
It's
blood on
still
the towel.
nasty. Ooh,
Yeah, that was just like whoa, like this is kind of intense for my 7 year old
damn.
brain.
Yeah. The
So
kind of thing that sticks. You're like, damn, he's really.
yeah, Taekwondo got real, and that was like when I was like a green belt, and I was like, dang, eventually gonna have to hit cement, but it just never,
The first time you break a board in one of those things, you feel like the biggest badass in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah,
Because
and you get to
it's
sign the
not.
block.
Yeah, you do, and
Nice.
I still have some of them probably in my closet, but yeah, they're not that strong, Tim. Honestly, like it's one of those things. Once you do it, you feel like a badass, but then you slowly realize, oh, it's really not that hard,
Mm-mm.
because it's kind of in your head. A lot of people can't do it because they instinctively stop when they hit the surface,
I
but
hear that.
the idea to just cut through it is just to think like I'm just going through it, like just
Has
one
to.
motion.
Yeah.
You can't, you got to like, yeah, kind of visualize your hand going through or
You,
your foot going through. Yeah.
you gotta put your guard up, protect your head.
Yeah. There was one of those tournaments I remember that it was a very little kid. Sometimes they'd get the kids in like when they were really little. This girl had to be like 6 years old, really tiny.
Mm-hmm.
they were trying to see if she could break the board. They got their smallest one, but I mean, it's like a 6-year-old girl. She's trying. I mean, she was doing good, but we spent a long time and we're all rooting for her. And I don't know if the guy holding it eventually just snapped it himself, but I think she eventually did it, and it was thunderous applause. So obviously they gave her endless tries because.
See, now what if it was the girl with the bloody hand and she's like
Oh my
railing on it over and over? Then the show stops. Then it's
Anime
yeah,
character.
for real though.
Future
Yeah.
anime villain. Yeah,
Oh,
like it's
yeah.
like a
Right,
rival character, like a young Bakugo, like would have been. Oh yeah,
he's-
you guys
but
watch
he's-
Cobra Kai?
No, I haven't.
No, I hear
watched
good
Cobra
things.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun show. It's very, I mean, it helps a bit if you've seen the first movie, but it flashes back to the first movie so much you don't have to get that much. But it's kind of a novel idea because it centers around the rival character from the first movie, Johnny. He was like,
Yeah.
Ralph Macchio's Bakugo in that one, or his Sasuke or whatever. Like he,
Put it in terms I understand.
yeah, exactly. He was just the shitty
You
rich
ever seen
kid.
Karate Kid though,
from
for real?
Cobra Kai.
I mean, I'm
No.
not shaming you. I've
No, I
never
have,
seen
I
it for
have.
real either.
I remember
just
the
know
trailers
setup.
for the show too, and he's washed out and
Yeah,
He
he's
hit
like
his
a
peak
drunk
back
guy.
then.
Yeah, like he's
Right.
stuck in the 80s. Yeah, because that's when he peaked in high school.
Hey.
So, but he becomes the sensei for this other like bullied kid, and it kind of takes off from there. But the first season is really good. The last season was pretty good. I'll tell you, these guys, him and Ralph Macchio from the first movie, they're our like parents' age now, at least
Right.
my parents' age, and they're doing like all the karate and flips and stuff. I mean, they're good, and the kids in it, they do their own choreography. It's pretty
Oh
impressive.
wow, that's sick. Actually, I didn't know
heck
that.
yeah.
I mean, it's like a pretty lighthearted show. It's kind of self-aware. It's kind of like comedy soap, if that makes sense.
Heard.
Like, yeah, it's a little hard to describe, but it's like it's very self-aware that this is like strip mall karate.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'll say about it. But yeah, it's a fun show.
So our official recommendation for the week is Cobra Kai. Again, that's
One thing I noticed about
Yeah,
this
those
show,
are-
it bounces a lot. Didn't it start off on YouTube Prime, and now it's like,
It did.
oh
somewhere else?
yeah.
It started
And now it's on
YouTube
Netflix.
Red, I think.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
here's the
YouTube
thing.
Red.
I think it was on YouTube Red when they were
Rest in
trying to
peace.
compete with because they were trying to compete with Netflix. It was kind of like when YouTube was like, "Hey, we'll make our own and we'll do series with like Logan Paul and like other
Yeah,
people."
I remember
As
Cringe, am I
shows.
right?
Matt Pat
But
had
they're-
that one that show, that one show.
Right. And so their big get was the Karate Kid spinoff, and people were like, "Hey, the show's pretty good," but despite the good word of mouth, a lot of people just didn't get YouTube Red, so not a lot of people saw it. But then it quickly got picked up by Netflix. Like I think in like summer of 2020 or something, and then it got this big second wind, and a bunch of people. A bunch of people discovered it. They gave it a second season on Netflix, and now it's a Netflix show,
Wow.
and it became a big hit there. So
What a come up.
yeah, real lucky because some shows you feel bad, but they get screwed over by like the platform or something just not taking off. But they got a second chance and paid off big time.
For sure. I mean, Netflix seems to be the king of that.
Yeah, reviving shows sometimes. And don't get me wrong, sometimes Netflix cancels some stuff because it's too expensive or for whatever reason. Like I admit, like Ozark, like ending after the season, I'm like, what already? But
I know, right?
to be fair, I would rather it end strong than go on too
Me too,
long and
yeah.
become,
Definitely.
cheesy. Because Ozark is just one of those shows. I'm a big, prestige TV guy. There's some shows like Ozark, Succession. What's another one I watched? I watched Downton Abbey in the winter. Just there are some shows that you just see their caliber above a lot of movies, even.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because the whole ensemble is really good. Like Ozark's a show where almost everybody seems like, this could be a real person. This could be a
For
real
real.
person.
For real though.
The girl who plays Ruth and Wyatt, they feel like just they're people they found down there.
Yeah, they do. They really embody. They really embody that really well.
Oh
Like
man,
the Missouri. Don't want to say like I don't want to be derogatory here, but you know what I'm saying.
You can say, I mean, look, Ruth and Wyatt are hillbillies. I mean, no, I'm not being dry.
like
let's
the
be
Missouri
candid here.
The Missouri Riverbilly, like.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, they live in some backwoods trailers. I mean, they're not. They are not privileged people, and they play it so authentically, though.
Yeah.
And in the show, it's not one of those that looks down on rural people or anything like that.
Yeah, that was about what I was about to add. Like, they write them in a way where it's not like how I was like. It's not like, oh, we just give them an accent and then make them chew tobacco. Like, they're people that so happen to come up from that, but they're more than that.
Right. I mean,
just trying to make a living.
Some of the bad stereotypes, certainly, but there's more to them. You feel like Ruth, even though Ruth is like not really a nice character, like I feel for Ruth right now. Like I want her and Marty to make things work again, but I understand with the current situation why things are.
I think that settles
dark,
it.
So.
Yeah. I think that settles it. Our official recommendation for this week: Ozark. Go check it out on Netflix.
Yes, if you want something dark, Ozark. If you want something lighter, Cobra Kai. Yeah.
Even though Jason Bateman
that's
is
fair.
perfect,
That's fair.
He is
in Ozark with his comedic entries.
Timing.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, it's not
What
a
a jack of
comedic
all
show,
trades.
but he's just like, yeah, like what his little. I don't know if it's improv or written. Either way, it's genius. Like between some lines, he'll just be like, "We didn't have to be like that, huh?" let's bring it back down to earth.
He really nails that look. So like when you're having such a bad day and so many things are going wrong.
Yes.
You reach that point of where you're like, I'm not even angry, I'm coping. Like I'm just enduring it. Like he's like at that level, like the whole show, and it's so like authentic. You can just see it on his face,
and rightfully
has these,
so.
like 1,000-yard stares. Sometimes things are going wrong, and he's like at that point where like I'm so stressed, I almost look zen.
Yeah.
Because if like one more thing happens, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah. Wendy, his wife, is a little more openly high strung.
Yeah.
But she's kind of a baller though.
Yeah.
She's sometimes the one who has to be the heavy.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, I don't want to deal with it.
Very evident in that last season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ozark is very perfect at telling you who a character is. Like, even if you don't figure it out right at the beginning, they kind of tell you from the beginning. Like, even their whole situation, spoilers here a little bit, but how the whole affair thing that they have. Like, right from the beginning, they show you that Marty is a little soft-spoken. He knows something is obviously wrong. He's been known something's obviously wrong, and he's the kind of guy to never not do something about it, just fester. He's
bottled up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Wendy's the type, she wanted something, she saw it, and she went and got it, and she keeps getting it, and she keeps deceiving because she also wants Marty. She's willing to do whatever it takes to keep her family safe, but also get what she wants.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's
she's ruthless.
She's ruthless, but with a very nice smile and demeanor, and you have to dig and find her ruthlessness. She won't let you see it unless she wants you to see it.
No, exactly. She's not so transparently ambitious, because that can get you in trouble in this world. I could gush about it all day.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but like maybe after season 4, part 2 is done, a couple episodes down the line, we can maybe do a whole segment on that, because like Ozark is one of the best shows I've ever watched. But okay, I think we should dive into our overrated lists.
Yeah, let's jump into it while we're here.
So the subject of today's episode are overrated Disney movies. We did underrated Disney movies last week. If you weren't here for that, you're lacking. So yeah, I'm gonna start off this list the way I did last week and just mention some people that aren't here that I asked. I should have asked some of my coworkers, but I just started this new job and I'm not there yet. We're starting to finally get friendly. I'm not the most talkative guy. I like to like look for the most precise times and conversations that throw my personality in there. Let them know what I'm about without, drowning them with it. So I'm not
respect
comfortable yet to ask them their most overrated Disney movies yet. But I asked my mom, and I thought this was really interesting, so I'll bring it up first. What her most overrated Disney movie for her time, and she said that Cinderella was her most overrated Disney movie. I thought that was like interesting because I know that's a really beloved Disney movie for its animation, story, all that, the characters. And I don't know, I've never watched Disney. I never watched Cinderella enough to really have an opinion on it. I think I've only seen like twice.
So if I can chime in there.
Oh, Cookies wants a summary of the top 5 underrated last. Well, maybe what was it? We'll give you a summary. What was our list? I didn't write it down.
The top 5, I think I remember. So we had 5 was Holes.
Mm-hmm.
At 4, I think Tarzan was at 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Fox and the Hound at 3. Or was it Hunchback?
Yeah, it was something. Yeah, Hunchback was higher than Fox and the Hound, I think.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, I think that Fox and Hound might have been 4. Then it was.
No, 4 was Tarzan.
Just go look it up. Just click back to the previous. I have time for this.
You want to know so bad.
Let's get on. Let's do the work yourself. We're not gonna put in the effort, okay?
I mean, the VOD is there.
But Cookie.
Number 1 we had was a Goofy movie. I remember
the Goofy movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cookies.
I'm sorry, Cookies. I don't have it at hand, but yeah, when we get the episodes and clips rolled out, maybe you could check back and get the more proper list.
Correct.
Sorry.
Thank you,
Groundark, for we needed that actually, I think. but yeah, Cinderella, right?
I was going to trim with Cinderella. I was going to say,
right.
I don't know if any of you guys have it on your list. It's not on mine, but I can totally see where your mom's coming from, because out of the sort of golden, well, that's, some consider that the silver age of Disney. I don't think it's one of the best. I think, don't get me wrong, I think it's beautifully animated. It's an iconic movie. The castle, it's right there in the middle of Disney World. It's nice. But it just doesn't have as much personality, I think, as some of the others. I think, I mean,
it's the vanilla
Peter Pan, I think, is a little more fun. I think Sleeping Beauty is more visually unique. And then that's not to disparage anything about Cinderella. It's just, like, if you had to describe what Cinderella's personality is, she's a doormat?
Essentially.
She's nice. I mean,
there's a reason why when Twitter was going around, would they be like basic white girl, she was the face of it. I feel like she's the most basic princess. Like, what does she really do other than what? I guess she's like the rags to riches. She's the only fan story.
Her dress is F tier. It's like just.
It's not even hers. It's magic.
Yeah, the fairy godmother.
Pathetic.
Should have been called fairy godmother. She's the one who.
Or the OnlyFansly godmother.
Wow.
Well, speaking of OnlyFans, man, I'm telling you that prince, the guy had something going with the feet, because he was like, I got a plan. I'm gonna grab every foot in the kingdom.
It has to fit this glass slipper so I can see through her piggies all the time.
I like that's reading between the lines. That's good.
It's the OnlyFans story.
People are free.
The only feet story. Yeah, I mean, rich people, when they could buy everything, they need something different to spice it up.
They're like, I need to go a little insane.
Yeah, everybody, drop your work. Round up your daughters, young and old. Make them present their feet to me. I gotta find the perfect match.
No joke. If I was a prince and I had unlimited wealth, I think we'd all get like a little unhinged. I think we'd all become a little.
Yo, what was it? I don't know what medium it was, but I mean, what I was seeing, but it was something that was so perfect. Like the whole thing that says like what money changes a person.
Yeah.
Someone said that in a movie or a TV show I was watching, and then someone replied like, "No, money doesn't change you; it just amplifies who you are." And I think
Yeah.
that's
Certain
so
qualities.
perfect. So yeah, I feel like if we all had copious amount of wealth, especially at a very young age, uh,
Yeah.
that's why I kind of make fun of the crazy internet kids or whatnot, but I can't blame them at the same time. I'd make the same
Right.
mistakes if I was making $100,000 a month at 19 years old.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
I would
You
definitely make
don't-
the same amount of mistakes.
Oh yeah, it's easy.
So,
And also people who grew up with insane wealth and they don't know what it's like to be without it. And again,
mm-hmm.
if anyone watches Succession, that's what the show's about. The guy's three
Oh,
kids, they've grown up as billionaires. And there was a great episode in the last season where one of them, the main character, Kendall, he has his 40th birthday party. But Kendall is like a bit of a man child. And his 40th birthday party is this gigantic event. And you just see the stupid amount of wastefulness that goes like because he's a billionaire.
right.
It's all about status. It's all just about the pageantry of it. And you realize this guy doesn't have like a single real friend there.
Mm.
But
Sure.
it's a whole thing into Succession.
Yeah, I mean,
But yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Cinderella, Prince is a weird foot guy. She's a doormat. I will admit this is a bit unlike me, but I think I don't know when it came out. Was it like 2014 or something, or 2013? There was a live action one that Disney did with
yeah,
Kenneth Branagh directed it. That is Gilderoy Lockhart from Harry Potter. Those of you Potterheads, he's a director. He directed that movie, and it was who played the guy from Game of Thrones was the prince. Richard Madden. No, not Richard Madden.
John Madden?
Football thing. No, John Madden. Okay, is it Richard Madden from Game of Thrones? Let's see, Richard. Okay, yes, it is
Rest
Richard
in peace,
Madden.
John Madden.
I was
great
thinking
John
of
Madden.
John Madden.
yeah, rest in peace.
No, Richard Madden, yeah, from Game of Thrones, and Lily James, who is like the new Keira Knightley. I love Lily James. I have a crush on her. She was a really good Cinderella. It was a nice movie, and of course Kate Blanchett is the wicked stepmother. Really good. That's probably the best version of Cinderella, in my opinion.
Don't ask BET fans
man.
what the Brandy version of.
Believe it or not, I have not seen it. So to be
I've seen
fair,
it too
I'm not-
many
no,
times. It's okay. It's just like
It's
I
nostalgic,
mean, it's just Cinderella,
but it's
just
probably
Cinderella.
nostalgic for a lot.
You
of
know
people.
the story.
Oh yeah, I've seen it when I
Yeah.
was a kid. Yeah, so it's like, but and then okay, so Cinderella is on the honorable mention thing, and
We got
another one
down.
that's on. This is the only other one I have. My little brother, he said
Okay.
actually surprisingly to me, he said Snow White was overrated, and
Wow.
I disagree with him, but I just wanted to mention that just to see what you guys think. I think Snow White at its time was it's very good. Like we said last time, it was
Yeah.
made in 1937. When I found out it was 1937 and it looks like that,
Yeah.
it moved like that. Like it doesn't
Right.
look bad at all for
No.
19. Like I'd imagine like Steamboat Willie type of animation, which isn't bad,
Right.
but it's not the best either.
But it was much cruder. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
And-
That impressed me. So I think it's rated quite well, I believe, and it's not a bad movie at all.
Their first animated
Their
feature
first
film.
I
feature.
think so.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Feature length one. Yeah.
I don't know. Can't be too overrated. Being the first
Well-
and all.
I can understand why a kid today would not appreciate it as much because
Yeah.
sensibilities change and whatnot, especially if you're a boy. I think if you're a boy today, it doesn't, of a certain age, it doesn't have a lot for you. When I was a kid, we had the VHS of it, and I thought it was a bummer because I didn't realize she gets woken up at the end. I'm talking like real little. I thought it just ended like she's in sleep and that's it. Like I just thought like, dang,
Just
they weren't
turn it
messing
off, or
around.
what's?
Yeah, I thought that was the end. Because the little title card comes up because it's like she's asleep for like a whole winter or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. And I just thought those were like the credits, and I was like, well, I guess Snow White doesn't get out. I was like, boy, that's a That's a harsh one. Like, it was all fun. Like, yeah, like Dopey and Grumpy and the dwarves. They're all like standing around her casket crying. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I guess they didn't play back then in the 30s, you know?
Well, it was an artistic choice.
I was like, that was a bold choice, Disney. And I
Right.
started seeing all this like pictures and art of the prince like carrying her off into the sunset. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Just fans. Just fans.
Yeah. Fake news.
Just theories.
I'm like 5, 6 years old, yeah, and I'm like, oh. So I was very happy to see there was a happy ending, but you remember that sequence where she's lost in the woods and it's scary?
Oh yeah, that actually genuinely scared me as a kid.
It scared
been
a
a
lot
while.
of kids at the time. Yeah, that's like a really good, yeah. And the hunter's all like freaky when he's about to stab her, but he can't do it, and yeah, that's a good one.
That movie's pretty deep. Now I think about it, like with the violence and the intense.
Yeah, it did get a little scary back then. Yeah. Your brother was too scared.
I mean,
Back when they weren't afraid to push the envelope. Eh?
So who wants to give their 3 first? Their 3 overrated.
I guess I'll go first. I'll start it off. I'm making, just so you guys know, as we say overrated, I'll also give you guys. Can you guys see it in the?
Oh, here we go.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what I
There
did
we go.
last time.
All right. Very good to know.
Yeah. I keep a whiteboard for y'all, so you guys will be live updated. Also, if you guys open your ears, you'll be live updated. That's also a thing.
All right.
Can we get some Pixar movies in the mix? We will get some Pixar movies in another episode. This one is strictly Disney.
Pure
the Disney
Disney
movie.
mainline.
Yeah, because
There's nothing else.
Because there's enough for Pixar to be another episode in itself.
Yeah.
We agreed on, so keep watching for that.
Yeah, look forward to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start off with the list. What we do here is we all say our top 3 of our lists, and then we'll discuss from the top 3s a top 5. Feel free to put your opinions in chat. Make a list in chat. Disagree, agree with us in chat. Do it in chat. Star Wars is Disney. Star Wars is Disney, but it's also Star Wars, and there's 9 of them, so there's
We're
enough
not
to do
counting
that.
that.
But
Yeah.
also,
We're not
I
doing
haven't.
that.
I'd have to do more research to do that episode because I've not really even watched
And I
one Star
disagree
Wars
with that.
episode.
I disagree with that because Star Wars is distributed and owned by Disney, but the logo doesn't appear before the movies.
Whoa.
Disney owns it. Star Wars was 20th Century Fox for decades before Disney. It only was recently acquired by Disney.
What about
Star Wars-
Lucasfilm?
So Lucasfilm, I know, always had some sort of partnership with Disney.
Oh.
So I know they had an agreement with like the parks and stuff. So Disney used to sell like Star Wars merchandise, and they had Star Wars stuff at some of the parks.
Always?
But Disney weren't the ones who distributed the Star Wars movies. That was 20th Century Fox, and Lucasfilm made them. And now Disney bought Lucasfilm in, I think it was like 2014 or something like that. And so with that, they own Indiana Jones, they own Star Wars, and all that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they went on a buying internet entertainment overhaul. They saw.
But just
Yeah.
Well, I can't fault them for it, but it's just like, gosh darn it, Disney! Like everything
getting a
that
little
is
monopoly.
budding, every entertainment business that's budding, they just end up buying. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they end up buying Epic Games if Fortnite gets big enough. Like I would not.
I guess
be
I didn't
surprised.
realize. I didn't realize how much the umbrella covered there.
They
was
own
like-
ESPN, they own Hulu, they bought 20th Century Fox. So Fox now, because I think Fox saw like, well, you know what, we make enough money from sports and Fox News that the movie stuff, we'll just let Disney own it. So now it's been sort of broken up, and 20th Century Fox, which has been around
They own
since the
ABC,
beginning of
Cookie
movies
says,
almost. They own ABC too. 20th Century Fox is, I think, now just 20th Century Studios, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They bought them a few years ago for like $70 billion.
No,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I wonder. Huh.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
crazy just to hear that number. Like
Yeah.
they have 70
I guess I always
billion
thought-
flex real fast. They do. I mean, that's insane to think about.
Well, it's kind of like, does AT&T own Time Warner now, or is it still AOL? used to own Time Warner, and Time Warner owns like Turner Broadcasting, and Turner Broadcasting owns
Yeah,
CNN,
AT&T owns Time
CBS,
Warner.
TNT. Yeah. Oh, AT&T owns them. That's just
Yeah.
insane. Comcast owns NBC and Universal.
So we're not doing any of those acquirees.
Yeah, but no, we're not
Keep it
doing
pure
the.
Disney.
We're
Pure
keeping
Disney.
it. We're keeping it. We're keeping it clean. We're keeping it Disney, baby.
And I'm
Yeah.
using Bing. I just showed the internet, so I had to say that. Okay, so I'll start off the top. My top 3 overrated. Number 1, I think it's gonna be on everyone's overrated list, and if it isn't, what's going on with your brain? Frozen. Frozen.
I knew
Frozen.
it. Yep.
Let's go.
Like, I don't want to build a snowman. Like, I don't want to chill with Olaf. I don't. Like, I saw that movie, nothing, absolutely nothing was charming about it to me. Nothing. The whole plot, the evil prince, their whole, like, debacle with, I gotta hang out with this lumberjack guy. Like, that, nothing was entertaining at all to me about that movie, so it's just so crazy. And the song is terrible. It's
Let It Go?
Which one?
Both. Let It Go and Do You Want to Be Listening? They're both bad. I mean, Let It Go is too loud.
It's a screamy, belt it song. Yeah.
That's all it is. Like, did you want soul with Disney? Cool, but does it make good for a song that's, like, for me, like, should be repeated over and over again? Like, I don't know, man. Like, that's when I was like, maybe I'm just old. Like, when I saw that movie and I didn't like it and I saw everyone was loving it, I'm like, maybe this is it. Maybe Disney is officially not for me anymore.
Oh.
But then I like Zootopia and stuff, so I'm like, no, it's just that movie. So, yeah, that movie is overrated to me.
All right, what's next?
It's for the second one, this might make a lot of people upset, but Aladdin, to be honest. I think that movie is its songs. Great soundtrack.
Yeah. I love the music.
Great musical, but if you took... I challenge people to take the music out of it. Like, watch that movie and skip over all the musical vignettes. How good is the animation? How interesting is the dialogue?
Yeah.
For me, it never really caught me until they started singing.
I know what you mean.
So, Aladdin...
The music carries it. Yeah,
yeah, the music carries it a lot. It's a great soundtrack. I could probably sing a lot of those songs, and I like I even like the animation during those parts. But it's like they turn the switch off until they get to the next animated thing. It's like they're saving their animation budget for those.
The big numbers and everything in between is kind of boring.
Exactly.
Yeah. I hear you. That's a problem some of them have.
For sure. And my third pick is gonna be Little Mermaid as well. Because, yeah, I know, that's going to make a lot of people upset.
2 Renaissance movies.
I know, it's like...
Take it to the comments.
Right, because with Little Mermaid, it's okay, but, I mean, I don't really... I think the movie is the most interesting when the main character isn't talking, which is kind of a weird problem I have with the movie. It's like I'm not invested in Ariel's story. I actually like Ursula more than anybody in that movie.
So I think maybe me and Tim, we should give more of our thoughts on each of the picks when we're making the top 5.
Yeah.
So this way we can each get through our 3 picks a little faster, because I have some things to say about Little Mermaid too that I think you'll agree with.
I've got some things to say too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I like it, but yeah. So Tim, do you want to go next?
Okay, here we go. I guess I'll start. I'll go reverse order I was going to. So this is my number 3. It's a little movie called The Little Mermaid.
Yes.
Both of you.
Yeah, it made the list.
Yes.
And I ain't regretting nothing about it.
Little Mer.
Okay, yeah. I have here forgettable plot. I can't remember. I can remember.
Oh wait, you cut out.
You cut out.
Oh no. Can you hear me?
Run it back. Run it back.
Okay, so like here's my gripes with the film here. It's forgettable plot. Because I remember what happens in Cinderella. She
Forgettable
loses her
plot for
shoe.
sure.
Snow White's asleep. Sleeping Beauty's asleep. It's easy to remember. What happens to Little Mermaid? Something about her voice. Okay. And I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. It's nothing but horny bait.
Oh yeah. Talk about it.
Listen. I'm gonna say what we're all thinking here. It's just it's just people only like this movie because she's attractive. Ursula's attractive, and everybody likes this movie for that. So
Yeah, me.
why are you gonna shoot?
My favorite
Why are you
character.
gonna shoehorn it in like this and try and have a foundation that's not any good? Look at my veins are popping out of my neck. I'm angry about it. So it's on the list. Guess what else is on the list?
What's on
Yeah,
the
that's
list?
right. Frozen. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Get out of
all
here,
I have-
Frozen.
I just have one thing written down here. It just says kids these days. It just I guess I was thinking like maybe kids these days, And my next film is the remake of The Lion King.
Ooh.
How about that one?
The live
Yeah.
And here's-
action.
The live action, well, the CGI version of The Lion King. And here's the thing about this
The
movie.
CGI, for real, the CGI, not live.
The CGI, people like to say it's like, but I didn't see no Donald Glover running around. I didn't spot him. But let me tell you something about this movie, okay? It wasn't, people may not have said this movie was very highly rated. Doesn't matter. It was unnecessary. No matter how much rated it is, still
It made $1
overrated.
billion.
I'm sorry?
It made $1 billion in gross.
Is this
They
thing,
had a
is this thing
scene
on?
of a dung beetle
What?
rolling crap for 2 minutes.
And that was the movie, folks. The crap was the thing it was rolling up. That was the movie.
They're like, oh, Disney was like, hey, guess what? You paid $15 a ticket for this. Watch this ball of shit that we CGI.
And that probably cost millions of
this?
dollars.
Yeah.
Someone
They had
didn't
a
see their
team.
family because they had to work on that.
The ball of
sequence.
shit. He had to put
Someone missed
overtime
their
on
kid
making
being born.
because the physics of the dung beetle interacting.
We
with the
gotta
ball
have you
of
work
garbage
this week,
crap
Jeff.
was off.
Yeah,
for
we
the
gotta
weekend.
get you animating this dung beetle, Jeff. Skip the birth of your son, Jeff. I hate this movie.
Jeff's kid doesn't know who he is. He comes home. He's like, Daddy's here. The kid's like, you're a stranger to me.
You're not a dung beetle.
Thanks, Lion King
one-year-old-
remake.
His 1-year-old son said that first words.
You know what? Look it up
You
because
see
I think
that?
that's real. I'm just gonna
You're
say
a
it. I think that might
stranger
have
to
happened.
me.
All right, so we got our 3 picks from Tim. Got The Lion King Live is number 1, Frozen is 2, and Little Mermaid is 3. Little Mer. So there's gonna be some overlap between our lists.
We are
Yeah,
going to have
Makes
some
our top
overlap.
five a little easier, I think.
We
Alright,
are. We
Dan,
were
I
think
definitely
so.
going to have some overlap because
Here we go.
first thing first
Here we
is
go.
same thing. Lion King live action remake.
Yes.
It was. Here's the deal. Can you call it live action? There's no people in it.
Right.
Why would you take a story that is best suited for expressive animation? Because animation allows animals to be, this is hard to pronounce out loud, anthropomorphic, so they can have a wider range of expressions. They can act more. Why would you make them more like real animals and limit their acting more? It's impressive. I'll give you that. It's impressive. Donald Glover, nothing against him. He's a modern Renaissance man. Talented guy.
Flop.
Beyonce. Who hates
Give him his flowers.
Beyonce?
Beyonce
Not
did smoke him on that duet
Sean
song.
Carter.
Yeah. No one hates Beyonce here. James Earl Jones. Yeah, bring him back. Great. But why? He already played Mufasa. The movie isn't that old. the movie came out in '94. It was was it the highest grossing movie of that year? So it came out like the week after I was born. I know that fact. Number one in the box office when I was born was Speed. If I was born a week later, it would have been The Lion King. But Speed is
It was
also
The
a really
Lion
good
King.
movie.
Was The Lion King the highest grossing movie of
Speed's also a
1994?
good movie. But anyway, yeah, real unnecessary. Everything you said, Tim. It kind of spits in the face of the legacy of the animation because it doesn't seem like it really adds or does anything that different. At least with the Jungle Book. The Jungle Book said, we're going to tell the story a very different type of way. You know, the animated Jungle Book is a musical. It's got a different tone. The live action Jungle Book from, what was it, like 2016, I think, said, okay, we're going to take the same story, but we're going to do things different. And to its credit, it is. And I think it was pretty good for what it was. But Lion King, it seemed really creatively bankrupt. And I know a lot of critics felt the same way, but it made $1 billion. So
Directed by Jon Favreau. So
he made very good movies before. Made Love Iron Man, but
what happened? What happened?
he's under the thumb. He's under the thumb of the yeah. I think he also did the Jungle Book. But anyway, my second one, another movie that was, I think it did receive mixed reviews at the time. So it wasn't that beloved by critics, but it was a huge financial hit, and it is loved especially by millennials. And by millennials, I mean scene kids and emo kids and kids with dyed hair who went to Hot Topic. I am talking about Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. I don't like this movie. You'd think normally Tim Burton, Alice in Wonderland, be a match made in heaven, right? No brainer. Think that would go together perfectly because Tim Burton is really good at making weird stuff happen and having a cool visual style, but narrative, story, and all that, maybe not his strongest suit. Alice in Wonderland, perfect. It doesn't have that complicated of a story. She just runs into weird people and is trying to get home. But instead, they try to turn it into like Narnia. They try to insert all this mythology about the Red Queen being this like Emperor Palpatine figure who's taken over Wonderland, and then now the Mad Hatter is part of some rebellion. He's not just some schizophrenic guy who likes tea. He is part of a resistance. And then there's some like prophecy with Alice. It's stupid. It's stupid. Shut up.
Go off.
Yeah,
no, go off.
It's stupid. I hate it. And also the CGI is bad. It looks like the Star Wars prequels where you're just in a green world. Nothing is tactile. I don't like it. It's just CGI goop.
Yeah, and that
everywhere.
cat is not good looking. It's not even freaky. It's not even good at looking freaky either. It's just bad looking.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Compared to the 2D.
Again, nothing against Johnny Depp, but he's just doing the same thing Johnny Depp does sometimes in these Tim Burton movies. It's like cake on the white makeup and be quirky.
Yeah.
Well, there it is.
Description.
Yes. Oh, I'm the Mad Hatter. Yeah, Anyway, you may notice a pattern here because I'm picking on a certain period of Disney because all these movies did pretty well. Now this one is defended by a similar crowd, and I don't know if this one was as big of a hit as the previous two, but it's one that I think people give a lot of credit to that I think is a pretty lousy movie, and it's Maleficent.
Ooh, yeah.
Disney, I can't remember what year it came out, but a few years back, made a live-action adaptation of Sleeping Beauty. And Sleeping Beauty, I'll be honest, is a visually beautiful movie, but Sleeping Beauty is not the most interesting character. She's kind of boring as a princess. So, making it about the villain seems like a neat twist. They're kind of doing the thing like Wicked did with Wizard of Oz. Like, what if we told it from the villain's point of view? Maybe she just got a bad rep. Maybe she wasn't that bad. She was just misunderstood.
Sure.
But the problem with those types of stories, especially when Disney does it, is that they have a hard time making a character that is truly deeply flawed in the way, how would I put this? They were afraid to let her be villainous. She could still be sympathetic. She could still be even like an anti-hero in ways. And Angelina Jolie, fine casting. The movie looks very good. She's got great makeup. Yeah, what they do. It's in the concept I like. It looks good. She's got a cool look, but they don't have the guts to let her be a villain, so they make Sleeping Beauty's dad a clear-cut villain. The point sometimes of these stories, like Wicked or these like misunderstood villain stories, is the idea, I think, that characters are more gray and complex, that there aren't really just black and white villains. But I think it's a real cop-out in these type of stories when, in order to make your more villainous character sympathetic, then you just put them against a really bad villain who is just black and white evil. And that's what Sleeping Beauty's dad is. The dude is the worst. He betrays her. He clips her wings because he used to be like her boyfriend or something. I don't know if have you guys seen the movie?
Not this.
I think I did, but I fell asleep in the theater.
Thank you, Josh. Case in point. Yeah, exactly. It's
Sleeping Beauty over here.
She was like the fairy queen.
Yeah.
She had like the cool horns and these big like eagle wings. But turns out like her boyfriend, this human, like he's like, no, I'm not here to hurt you, and they have a thing going for a while. He betrays her because men are bad, and he takes her wings away so he can become king. And then he has Sleeping Beauty as a daughter. And then Maleficent comes and she's like, I'm going to curse her to get back at him. And I'm thinking, yeah, okay, vengeance, sure. And maybe he regrets it. No, the guy's just all around bad. Her and Sleeping Beauty become friends. And it just wraps up a little too neatly. And it's just one of those movies that it introduces a more complex idea and then doesn't really want to do anything with it. It just plays everything safe. So that's why it's disappointing. That's why it's one of my most overrated.
Yeah, I think that it just inspires the cosplayers.
It does.
Come
And
out
cool
to Disney looking like that. They just wanted to also probably show a different version of Maleficent that's easier to put out in Disneyland, in Disney World to walk around. Like, I'm not trying to be so cynical, but Disney's such an entertainment machine that that's probably like we have to revamp. Like, I think that's what they did with Cruella, because Cruella, if you try to do the 2D animated Cruella, it's a little stuffy to try to bring into real life. She has the crazy hair. She has the hot coat. Now you revamp Cruella with Emma Stone. She now has like what? I didn't see it, but it looks like she has more of a sleek dress that's easier to put on.
And she's young.
And she's young.
She's young. Cruella was old. She was like a mean old, like alcoholic bat. And in the Cruella movie, which I saw, it's okay, for what it is. She's misunderstood anti-hero again. I think Cruella does it a little better than Maleficent did, but still falls into some of the same traps. But what you just said, Josh, reminds me of my take on Frozen, which I'm sure we'll bring up here as we talk about our top 5 now. We got our 9.
Yeah, we have to talk about the 5 now that we have our 9. We'll just remind everybody of the list. I went with Frozen, Aladdin, Little Mermaid. Tim went with Lion King Live, Frozen, and Little Mermaid, and Dom went with Maleficent, Alice in Wonderland, the Tim Burton version, and the Lion King Live.
Oh wow, I share all 3 of mine with others.
Except Maleficent and Alice in Wonderland.
No, he's saying
I see. Yeah,
my 3.
Just in case. Well, let's see how this top 5 real quick. But just in case if it gets difficult due to overlap, I have another one I could throw in there, but I just kept out.
Okay. Honorable mention.
Another honorable mention, basically. Yeah. So I think we can agree. I don't know if we can agree, actually. I think Frozen should be the most overrated. It should be number 1, if you ask me.
Okay.
Kids these days.
I don't know if anyone wants to debate against that, but I'm just like, what happens in that movie? Other, it's just I don't like the Disney movies that are known more for like the songs than the
I know what you mean.
actual plot, and more for like the merchandise than the actual movie.
Yeah.
See, I'm the same way. It is subjective, but if you're sick of it, in one movie, you're not going to want to watch any of the other ones. I'm not too excited about any of these other musicals they've got coming out, and Canto and all this. Miss me with it. Miss me with it.
Take it easy.
I'm getting heated today. I'm charged up. These overrated.
Well, I mean, some of them can just because like you have expectations for them for Disney, and it comes on, you're like, what's going on? And it's just Disney's just that brand that you respect it enough that you'll watch until it's over, before just turning it off. And there's like not even 1 second of that was entertaining Disney, and now the movie's just over. Like, come on, what are you doing? So like, I understand it can be a very heated thing to. Retracking your brain, I mean, recalling your brain, retracking your brain. But yeah. But
did you have an honorable mention though?
The honorable mention I was going to bring up was actually Ratatouille.
Oh.
I didn't know how much
Pixar.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. I'm stupid. Well, I just spoiled for my overrated Pixar pick.
I don't know if I can think of an overrated Pixar. Like I like most of them.
It's gonna be that. Yeah, that would be tough.
That was
Yeah. Okay, well, never mind.
No, it's okay.
Well, maybe we won't do. You know what? Say what you were gonna say, because I don't know.
Well, just for a preview of my opinion, and I'll obviously say it again in that episode. I just didn't know how loved that movie was until the internet. Like when it came out, I was like, that movie wasn't that good as a kid, but then like, it wasn't until I was an adult on Facebook where people were reposting like, remember when the lesson of Ratatouille, and remember when Remy did this, and I'm just like, y'all love that movie, and it's like this
one you love more as an adult than as a kid.
I guess I gotta watch it as an adult. I know there's a YouTube video titled like "Why Ratatouille is Pixar's magnum opus," and I was just huh?
I love it, but I don't like to say anything is a magnum opus because that's always setting it up to an impossible standard. Here's the thing: I say just watch the movie because I do love the movie. I think it's a great love letter to creativity and being an artist, but it plays better as an adult, I think, than as a kid.
Okay.
I liked it fine when I saw it. I think I was like 12 or 13 when it came out, and I liked it okay. But as I gotten older, yeah.
I hear you. Yeah, I gotta check it out again before I can throw it on there for sure. But all right, so Frozen, that's number one.
Let's do it.
Well,
on there. I mean,
whoa. Hold on.
Here's the only thing about Frozen. Because here's the thing about Frozen. I think Frozen has more redeeming qualities than Lion King remake, because at least Frozen is an original movie. And here's the deal. So I agree with you guys. I think Frozen is also overrated.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't dislike Frozen either. I think Frozen is the victim of being really overexposed because I think we all got so sick of hearing Let It Go. And anyone who had like little kids at the time or was around like young girls couldn't get away from it. Like parents were driven insane by it. It was pushed on them constantly. Even when you saw Coco, there was like a 20-minute Olaf short before Coco that pissed everybody off. So I get it. I get the Frozen fatigue. I didn't even see the sequel. I didn't care enough to.
The dollar store Frosty the Snowman. Hate that guy. Olaf.
Because here's the thing. Frozen, what I found disappointing, though, about Frozen was that Frozen... So when Josh said earlier about Disney makes calculated decisions based on toys and theme parks, that always has to factor into their creative decisions in movies. It shouldn't, but it does, because Disney is more than just a movie studio. They're a whole brand, and they're entertainment. So if a movie is not very marketable, even if it's really good, they're going to favor the one that's more marketable. So with Frozen, it was originally, I think before it was even called Frozen, it was either called like the Ice Princess or the Ice Queen. And Elsa was a villain. You should look up, one of you guys, Frozen concept art, early Frozen concept art. Completely different type of story, totally different look for the Ice Queen or Ice Princess Elsa. She was like blue. She had a big coat full of minks, and the minks were alive. It was very cool looking, but I don't know if they were supposed to be sisters. Anna was going to be the protagonist girl. And how would I put this? I think Disney just didn't see it as marketable. I understand probably in the development process, they saw a story about sisterhood and thought we could tell a really heartfelt story. And to be fair, I think that's one of the things I defend about the movie that I like. We don't get a lot of about the love between siblings, and I think that's good. But at the same time, you can feel a little cynical about the choices they made with Elsa. Like Elsa's dress is not, Frozen is a fantasy, but it's kind of in a period. Elsa's dress is not a period dress. Elsa's dress is modern because they want to sell that dress to girls. They want girls to want to wear it. Elsa's hair is modern. The song Let It Go is a pop ballad. It doesn't sound as good to me as like the Alan Menken like musical numbers from like the Renaissance era when they did like Part of Your World, Under the Sea, Beauty and the Beast, the songs in Aladdin even. This one felt like it was more designed for the radio. And
yeah, because it definitely was on it.
Right, exactly. And so I think Disney just sees like, hey, look, we know this story is cool. We got an awesome character design. She's blue and cool, but I think she's more marketable as a young blonde princess who sings a big pop ballad. And to be fair, they were right, but it comes off as a calculated decision like a lot of things in that movie. It's a little sanitized. So yeah, that's how I feel about Frozen. The song I do like in Frozen is Anna's song at the beginning. Was it for the first time in forever? And she's like going like around the castle, and then like she's in the gallery with the paintings. I like that one. The rest I can pretty much take or leave. But that's my lukewarm defense of Frozen. So I agree it's overrated. But with Lion King was already made. It exists. It was fine. And I just don't feel like they really added anything to it. I mean, do you guys? What do you think?
Yeah,
honestly, it was. They added such nothing. They were so faithfully recreating the movie that already existed that I at least I know it didn't make your list, Josh, but I am in total agreement. It is the worst one. It should never have even been made. No matter how rated it is, it's overrated.
Yeah, it is super overrated. I mean, I can't really defend it over Frozen. Mm-hmm. I mean, I saw really that, and I just there's a lot of things I wouldn't have done with Frozen. Like I wouldn't have had Seth Rogen be Pumbaa if James Franco was in Timon. That was such a huge miss. I was just like, why is that? Like, if once I heard Seth Rogen was Pumbaa, I was like, oh yeah, that's perfect. James Franco's Timon, and it just wasn't.
Comedy duo. Yeah.
I mean, I think it didn't have the chemistry. Like him and James Franco had Timon and Pumbaa, how they talked to each other. They had a chemistry.
Right.
And I'm like, well, Seth Rogen doesn't really have that chemistry with anybody else in Hollywood other than with James Franco, to be honest.
Right, because they're best friends.
And he's never working with him again.
So, I mean, I forgot who they even have as Timon, to be honest.
Billy Eichner, I think. He's like a Broadway guy.
Billy on the Street?
Yeah, Billy on the Street. Yeah, I'm like... Timon?
Right.
I get what you're saying. He's funny, but there's nothing there with the duo. They're not playing off each other.
With Timon, ever Billy's personality? Like, Timon was sarcastic, laid back. Like,
Mhm.
Billy Eichner is known for being on edge. But
Yeah.
anyway, and
Yeah.
Eric Andre as one of the
Hyenas.
yeah, that was just
Really?
weird. Donald Glover as the adult Simba. Like, when I heard he was Donald Glover, I was just like, oh, he's gonna be kid Simba then. Like, let's be honest. Like, my voice is in that register. It's just in that higher register that you'd play like a more of an adolescent. You know what I'm saying? You're not.
He sounds like a teen, yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
not the.
Well, he's childish Gambino.
Exactly.
Not fully grown Gambino.
Like, you see a full grown, and then when you give me a whole like, picture perfect big beast lion, and it jumps up on top of Pride Rock and says, "I'm taking my family back, Scar." It was just like, it sucks all of the intimidation out of the lion. I'm like, oh, it's just Donald Glover.
Have either of you guys seen the Broadway Lion King?
No.
No, never.
I'll tell you though, if you want to see like a true like live action Lion King, that's the one, man.
Oh
It's
yeah.
really cool. It's a spectacle. I mean, yes, it is like the movie, but what's cool about it is it's like it's very African themed. So the costumes are
Yeah.
really cool. They're like those tribal African masks. It's like a combination of like African savannah aesthetic mixed with like some of those like Japanese like East Asian puppet techniques because they don't try to make them
Oh,
look
cool.
like lions, but they look like bushmen who are lion themed. So they have these cool masks that so when they're standing upright, it's kind of like a carved like lion face. Again, they look like masks though. They don't look like the Disney characters exactly. They look kind of like remember when Rafiki does that little drawing of Simba, of
Yeah.
baby Simba? It has that kind of look to it. So
Okay.
when they stand up, it looks like a crown on their head. So Mufasa, his lion head, like a crown. Simba, same thing. Scar's got the same. But when they get down and they crouch, the thing goes over their face, and so it looks like they get into all like
That's
lion
cool.
mode.
That's
It's
cool.
it's a little hard to describe if you haven't seen it, but the show's been out a long time. You can look it up. There's plenty of pictures to see. It's a real spectacle. The show's really something. So yeah, definitely not hating on other versions of Lion King. I just think that if you're gonna do something, if you're gonna do the movie over again, do a different take on it. Do something really creative like that. And also, just when you see a show live, it just adds something special.
Right.
That's really cool.
It can
Yeah.
it can survive in other mediums, but it's already survived in film. It's not
It
necessarily
was the first like real
film.
Broadway show I ever saw. I
Really?
didn't see it at like New York Broadway, but we saw it when it was Cadillac Palace in Chicago. I was like 10 years
Cool.
old. My mom worked with a guy who got us
That long ago?
tickets. Yeah, I was 10 years old. Yeah, when I saw it. Well, it had been on Broadway since like the late 90s. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think it was one of those early like Disney Broadway adaptations. Started doing like Beauty and the Beast. They did a lot of those in the 90s.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it was
That
a
was
big
my
hit.
mistake.
Big hit. Yeah.
It was
I
a
mean, it's
modern
one of those
thing.
I think that's like it's going to be like touring forever because it's so popular, so
Yeah, just
you'll
like
probably
SpongeBob.
get your chance. SpongeBob opened in Chicago, yeah. My ex at the time, she got to see the preview screening there. She liked it actually. Said it was good.
I have heard like it's
SpongeBob
weird.
Broadway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, except it premiered in Chicago. She saw it, the preview one, and she said like it shouldn't work, but it does. And I took her word for it. I'd never seen it.
I know that we're gonna be coming out with a YouTube version of this podcast, but maybe
This
you
boy-
could put like a picture of SpongeBob the musical up on the screen right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, we probably
If
could.
not, that's okay.
This boy killing in the suspenders real quick.
Yeah, the costumes are pretty good for it. Yeah. It's kind of clever how they did it. I like how they did Patrick. It's pretty clever.
Something pretty revolutionary, never before done. So
Well, almost everything, is getting turned into. I never SpongeBob.
Steven Hillenberg, what do you think about this? I bet he's
So,
very
Bubble
happy,
bastard,
actually.
wasn't
so Lion King number
Lion
one.
King, Lion King number one. Is it a stack up against? I mean,
If you got nothing to say,
We
yeah,
could
that's
make
true.
Frozen
I guess
2
I
and then
no, you're
Lion King
right. I'll
1.
put Lion King number one for sure. Yeah, because you're right. It didn't add anything to it at all.
Here's the problem too I had with it. It was like everyone kind of agreed with our take that it was unnecessary, and yet it made $1 billion. It made so much money, and
Yeah,
so
that's true.
when a movie like that is that successful, Disney sees that and thinks, "Oh, let's keep doing this."
Yeah, and that's why we got Aladdin live. And
Oh yeah, that one was not as yeah. Let's talk about so you got Aladdin on there, Tim. How do you feel about Aladdin?
I got a pretty spicy take on this actually.
No.
I liked the movie and
ooh,
I thought it was pretty good. So
You liked you're talking about the original or
talk about the movie with the peasant that finds a magic bottle and
sometimes my
gives it a
family-
hand job. He gets everything he wants.
I'm sorry.
I'm just asking.
Overrated. I changed my mind completely.
No, I'm just kidding. I didn't mean to step on your point like that. What were you about to say?
Well,
I saw room for a joke.
I was just into the movie is all. Like, I probably look at it with rose tinted trashed here, and whenever my family would cook poor boys, and they used to offer me one, and I used to say, Aladdin was a poor boy. So number 5, Aladdin remake.
Well, no, wait. Josh
Oh.
said the original, and here's the
You
thing.
know the
Damn
original,
it!
not the live. Like I
got a little-
don't. I think the live is loved by the people who love Disney and hated by the people who love movies. So
Shout out to Will Smith.
True. Will Smith does fine. He does fine, but the rest of the movie was pretty lackluster. Because here's the deal: animated Aladdin is really fun, but I agree with Josh. The best parts are the songs. The rest of the movie is not as exciting as the songs. I wouldn't say necessarily call it overrated, but I can't deny, like Friend Like Me, Prince Ali, what was the other one?
Whole New World.
Whole New World.
Yeah, exactly. And about like those. Yeah. I mean, those are pretty much the main thing anyone remembers, and then it's Robin Williams doing his antic genie.
Yeah, Robin
Which
Williams
is
definitely carries that
funny.
movie on his back, and when he's not in a scene, it's like.
All right, Aladdin. So here's the thing: Aladdin and Jasmine, they're hot. All right, everyone knows that. Yeah, Jasmine's one of the baddest Disney princesses. We all know.
Mm-hmm.
But they're a little boring. They're not Cinderella boring. They're a little boring.
Stale. It gets stale.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, they're ingenue.
All right,
the
fine.
German theater. But I do like Aladdin. I would argue Little Mermaid's place in the top 5 over Aladdin, believe it or not.
Little
I
Mermaid.
think-
Oh yeah, I would say
I
like
think
that list
Little
as
Mermaid's
well.
more overrated than Aladdin.
I would say Aladdin was my sleeper cell pick. Really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think I would definitely throw Little Mermaid on there before Aladdin.
Little Mermaid, I mean, it's the movie that brought them out of the Dark Ages and into their Renaissance. It's very well done, but Ariel's dumb. Ariel's a dumb. She gives up her voice and her whole life for a guy she's never met.
For a
like-
day or something.
So
One
she-
day.
Yeah, she I get she's supposed to be a teenager. She's impulsive. Like Tim said, we like it. We like it because horny people. Yeah. I was that kid.
I'm just being honest.
I mean,
You were that
Ariel
kid?
was a waifu, yeah.
Little
Ariel's one of the
seashells
big
is all that's keeping that thing together.
Well, my first cartoon waifus were probably her. And then, believe it or not, so you remember Hercules? You know, the muses and Hercules?
Yeah.
I liked the one with the short one with the springy hair.
The music.
Not the fat one, but it was one of the muses, the one with the zigzaggy hair. That's what I like.
I'm trying to see. I filled them up. We got the music out here. You know what I'm saying?
Potential topic for next week.
The one with the 2-piece.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah, I loved her. Yeah. Yeah, I said, hey. I said to the VHS when I was 4 years old. I said, hey. Let's see more of her. Let's bring her back out.
Let's get to that next song, shall we?
Hey, Herc. I hear you. But let's see what those muses are up to. All right, let's bring them. I'm with you and all.
Hercules, man, that could be debated.
Just rewind,
I love
pause.
Hercules.
Hercules
I
is
almost
good.
argued it. Hercules was almost on
I
my
think
underrated.
I was about to say, like, that could be debated underrated.
I loved Hercules. Yeah, that was a fun one as a kid. Still like it. Yeah,
Okay,
Little
so-
Mermaid. I mean,
I mean, we're just kind of going. Would that be number 3? I think that would be number 3 if you ask me.
well, okay. So what are our other picks? Because we had a lot of overlap. We had.
Well, that's pretty much all the overlap now.
Oh, okay,
Because
yeah. Well, then we
the
had
other ones
Maleficent.
are Maleficent, Alice in Wonderland, and Aladdin.
Yeah.
For the 3 for the last 4 and 5 spots.
So we don't even really have 9 movies. We have.
Right.
We have 6.
So here's the thing. I think
One's just gotta
personally,
get cut.
Alice in Wonderland is a worse movie than most of these. I think. I don't know
Nothing
if you guys
really
have seen it or
happens
seen it
in Alice in
recently.
Wonderland other than visuals.
It should have worked, but it didn't. And
Well, I will say I actually do like Alice in Wonderland a lot, but I will not disagree that nothing happens. Like, it's just one of those movies I used to like to. Well, stuff happens, but nothing like of weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's just trying to get back home, and it just seems like
you're
one
talking
of
about
those.
the old or new one?
Oh yeah, I'm talking about the old one. But I guess I haven't
Oh,
seen the
I like the
new
old
one, and I can imagine it being any better than the old one.
It's worse though.
That's
Here's
what I'm
the thing.
saying.
The old
So-
one, I like the old one for what it is. It's not their deepest, movie or anything, but
Yeah.
it's visually beautiful. It's it is a nice simple story. It's engaging. As a kid, I really liked it. But the new one tries to make it grown up by just complicating it unnecessarily. But it doesn't make it deeper. Or here's the thing: sometimes when they think they want to make these things have wider appeal and make them more grown up, they think, oh, we'll put a lot of like genre elements and we'll make it Star Wars, we'll make it more epic like Narnia, and we'll make it complicated. But they don't make it deeper. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, if you want the deep version of Alice in Wonderland, I guess you could argue it's Spirited Away.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have seen it recently. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but it's just so many, especially girls, really liked it. Me, I'm in high school and I'm trying to talk to a scene girl. I was like, well, what movies you like? And they're like, I like Wonderland, because it's Hot Topic, because there's loud colors in it.
Yeah.
Because it's weird, but like it's weird in the safe way.
It's weird in like you can debatably say people that think it's weird is you don't get it. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those movies like you can just like if you like it, you can just be like, well, other people just don't get it. It's kind of like
Capture my vibe.
yeah, it's definitely niche.
It's not a David Lynch movie, It's like it's not a Eraserhead,
Yeah.
Like they just tried to make it Narnia, and it's not as good. Narnia is. Disney also made that movie. I watched it recently, actually. But I don't know. It's a headache. It's an over 2 hour headache. I think it's 2 hours. It feels like it. It's too long. Let me see. So I'm looking up the runtime.
Rest in peace, Alan Rickman.
Yes, he's in it. He's the caterpillar. Stacked cast, I'll say that. I mean, lots of. Yeah, how long is it?
Just goes to show you, you could have a stack cast. Same thing with Lion. Superstars.
Oh, okay, it's not a full 2 hours. Okay, I was harsh on it. Okay, yeah, it's just an hour 48. That's a perfectly reasonable runtime.
But maybe dragged on. Felt like 2 or 2.5.
Yeah.
I just, yeah, I don't know. I thought that was stupid. They tried to throw all that in. And, yeah, you guys heard my Maleficent rant. I don't really have to say any more about that.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Oh, my mic was muted. Sorry.
You
had good points on Maleficent.
I just haven't seen either or. But I guess if they made a lot of money, that would speak to them being overrated because they didn't catch my attention. So
I've seen Alice in Wonderland, but not Maleficent.
These are the movies that are going to be loved by the Zoomers. I'm telling you. Like, when they're older, they're going to be the ones like, this was a misunderstood classic. And it's like, no, you were 9. And you liked things.
True. Yeah.
It was made for you. Millennial, we have that too. We're guilty of that too.
Yeah, we are. We are. I bet like Pokemon, the first movie, is not as good as I remember.
It's not good. Yeah. But do we enjoy it because we were 6 or 7 or whatever?
Right. Yeah. You had your Game Boy right there.
Well,
The
side
vibes.
tangent, but my parents couldn't stand Pokemon, so that's part of why I didn't really like watch it much growing up. Because
Heard that.
parents, I don't know what it is like. I think people, if you're older than millennials, Pokemon, it's something I've noticed. Like, even when it's more palatable, like Detective Pikachu, like my mom saw it and was like, yeah.
I didn't see that. I was just like, Ryan.
It was okay.
Ryan Reynolds is not
It's
that
Ryan
good
Reynolds.
to be voicing everybody.
It's him
Should've been
doing
Danny
his shtick.
Should have been Danny DeVito.
That would have been fun. You know, though, it is weird, though. It is better than it should be in some ways. Like, yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one.
So is this our list?
Yeah, looks like it.
Down a little bit. Let me see that. Big top 5. There we go. Yeah. No, I like that.
So, guys, for our top 5 most overrated Disney movies, we have Lion King live action as number 1. Then we have Frozen as 2. Little Mermaid as 3. Then we scoot over to Alice in Wonderland, the Tim Burton version. And then topping it off with Maleficent. Those are overrated. Debate it in chat if you disagree or if you agree. You better come with the heat. If you have anything you think we missed, also put that in chat or in comments as well.
And thank you to everyone and your lovely comments on the last podcast.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming that they're lovely. I mean, we haven't actually put it out yet, but cut that out.
Nice comments.
Thank you so much. I'm just gonna assume.
Yeah, thank you so much for the input last time. And if you wanted to put input in live action in real time, you could have maybe swayed our opinion or added your idea to the list if you were here. So we do these shows every Sunday on Twitch, and if you miss it out, well, I don't know what else to tell you, man. I mean, I'm advertising it. I'm talking about it. So
Just watch it.